sounds in the kitchen cooking up, boy.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Broken Vase. I am your host Ashley, and today I have a friend of mine, someone I knew from high school. We kind of knew each other a little bit. Her name is Shonte, and the background of this, she reached out, she saw the videos that we were doing on Broken Vase, and it inspired her to tell a story of hers that means a lot to her. So today we're going to be talking about teen pregnancy and going through her story of that, and asking her some questions to get her perspective on teen pregnancy in our today's society as well as back then. Hi, Shonte. How are you?
Good. Excited to be here. A little nervous, but I'm doing well.
I love the background. I love the hair, the natural look. Like you look like you're flourishing, like you're just like in the flowers. Like I got this.
I appreciate it. I need that.
So we're going to talk about, I know you reached out and you wanted to talk about your experience as far as being a teen mom and what that meant to you and your story on that. So I'm going to give you the floor so you can let us know like what that was for you, your story behind it, and then I'll ask you some questions if you're cool with that.
Yeah, of course. And I reached out. My reasoning for reaching out, honestly, is because your stories inspired me, and we all go through things. So maybe your stories resonated with me, so I felt like maybe mine can resonate with someone else. So, and that, and also, like I shared with you when I was in high school, the high school newspaper did a article about me that I did not approve of it at all. So I never actually got an opportunity of telling my side or telling my story. So this is it. But a lot of people know that I am a mom, and I've been a mom for 14 years and I'm 27. So like for the better part of my life. And it's been really, really dope. It's been a really emotional roller coaster, honestly. Just to kind of start from the beginning, I was 12 going on 13. I had my daughter when I was 13, but I was pregnant for I think like a month or so when I was 12. So very young. My daughter's 14 now, so younger than her. And I can't even think about or imagine like her having a child right now. It's crazy. But I was 13 when I had my daughter. So I pretty much grew up like in an environment where I didn't have like the best role models, and my friends weren't that good of an influence. Like a lot of the girls that I hung around with in middle school were like already experimenting like with their bodies, the opposite sex, smoking, drinking, like doing those type of things. And I had a friend that I was talking to, or maybe my boyfriend at the time, that I was talking to, and honestly, my curiosity got the best of me and we experimented. And lo and behold, I ended up pregnant. But I didn't, because I was so young and like not well versed or educated about sex, honestly, I couldn't even recognize my symptoms of being pregnant. Like when I was pregnant, I didn't even know. My mom honestly pointed them out. She was just like, you're eating more, you're sleeping more, and you're gaining a little bit of weight. She was like, what's going on type of thing. And she suggested like a pregnancy test. And she asked me, she was like, are you sexually active? And, I'm like, I tried this one time with this guy, so I don't know. So when I told her I didn't know, she was just like, she was taken aback a little bit because she didn't know either. And so we did the pregnancy test and it came back positive. And I feel like maybe we both died a little bit inside because it was just like, what? So the best part about like that whole experience for me and that I remember the most is how my mom she didn't yell, she didn't kick me out her house like how most parents were like, oh, you get a baby, you getting kicked out and stuff like that. She didn't do that. Like it wasn't ideal for her either, and she wasn't happy about it. She didn't make me feel shitty about it. Like she still was there for me and protected me. So that was like the best feeling for me because it wasn't pleasant for either of us, honestly, but she's okay. So once we found out that I was pregnant, my mom really just went into like how she could help me mode type thing. So she like got because when we found out, I was like 5.5 months. So like way too far along for like any other options or anything. So she pretty much just got me a doctor and took care of me to the best of her abilities. I ended up going like homeschool. So I left school for maybe about 2 years or so and just stayed at home. I got to spend a lot of time with my mom during that time. And it was a really nice experience, honestly, being out of school, having the opportunity to spend time with my mom. And she was kind of like just preparing me for what was to come because I was going to have to go through like labor and delivery, which I was deaf scared to go through because my mom scared the life out of me. She was like, yeah, when I had a baby, she was like, I was crying. I was so sad. She was like, I was scared. I'm like, okay, because now I am terrified, like absolutely terrified to go through this. But after that, after she pretty much made sure that I was okay, we had like a baby shower. My friends were like super supportive of me. Like they made sure I was okay. They literally treated me like I was their baby mama. Like they were feeding me, coming by, like giving me belly rubs, like all type of things. Like my friends were definitely there and supported me. So I didn't, maybe because I was so young and like ignorant as well, like I didn't feel bad or like any shame or like anything like that because I had so much support around me that like none of the negativity like really got to me. I never felt shame until I got older and like feel bad about it. Like so, but everybody around me was super, super supportive, like took care of me really well. When I look back on it now, though, the only part that I probably would have like pushed more for myself is like for me, because while my family and my friends were super supportive, like all of the attention kind of like went to my daughter. Like everything went to her, how we could take care of her, which I needed because I was a child. I couldn't take care of a child. So I definitely needed that. But at the same time, I was still a child. So I still needed that mental help and guidance and just that mentally for myself. Maybe even some damn therapy or something like, because it was a lot to go through. So when we finally got like through labor, my daughter was born on December 31st of 2008. So I spent New Year's in the hospital and I remember it so vividly because like I remember when BET used to do like the top 100 countdown at the end of the year. I was laying in the hospital bed, like watching BET, chilling. Like my labor, I think my mom and them psyched me out so bad, and I was so scared that it was actually a really nice labor. Like I had all natural, like it was no pain for me. I was just like really happy to not have like died in the freaking hospital because my mom made it seem so horrible. Like, but it was okay. And I was a little scared. My child's father was there and he ended up like passing out in the hospital. I'm like, please get up. It's about me right now. I need the help. But it was like so new for all of us, like because it was his first child. He was really young also. We didn't know what we were doing. It was crazy. It was a really wild experience. But once I got my daughter home and my mom really like showed me the ropes of how to do things, she she stepped up. Like my mom was really like my baby daddy. She did everything. Like she let me go to school, like so I wouldn't be a statistic. So a lot of teen moms have to drop out of school to be able to support and take care of their child. So I was really fortunate to like still be able to go to school, still be able to do things because I had a village for sure. After I had my daughter, it pretty much was I hate to say easy. It was kind of easy because I had so much support, because I know like a lot of other teen moms don't have as much support and it gets really freaking challenging. But it wasn't that easy because I was freaking 14 getting out of school and going to work. Like I would have to go to work and I hated it so much. Like, but I've literally been working since 14 because I've had to like provide for my daughter for that long. So that part was tough, but my mom, again, she was the babysitter. I didn't have to come out of pocket for it. So I was like really fortunate in this situation. But now my daughter's 14. She's healthy. She's a little too grown, but she's like perfect. She does really well.
Your mom like helped you a lot with preparing for, going through pregnancy, labor, delivery, and then actually becoming a mom. What were some of the things that you prepared yourself for, and how did you prepare yourself to become a mom?
Well, that's a good question, honestly, because I don't know, but my timeline of events, I guess just because I've had so much go on at like an early age, and being 13 years old, I was not wise at all. So I would honestly say I didn't. I really just went with the flow, honestly. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, honestly. I can't even tell you like I did this, I did that. I mean, I did do like a couple parenting classes, some guidance as far as like what I should be doing or what I should prepare myself for, but nothing really. I just kind of went with the flow because I didn't know nothing. Honestly, I had no thoughts of whether I wanted to have kids or not. Like I had no idea.
Do you remember how you told your friends, or how it came? Like, do you remember those conversations of having that conversation with your friends as far as like, hey, like I'm gonna be out of school, I'm pregnant. Do you remember how that was for you?
I didn't really announce it to too many people, honestly. And it was probably because of how sheltered my family wanted to be about it. But no, I didn't tell anyone, honestly. I probably told my best friend. I did tell her, Brianna. I ended up giving her a call and I was like, hey, I got something to tell you. And she was like, what? What's going on? Like, and I was like, well, I'm pregnant and it's by such and such, and I'm probably not gonna like be around because I ended up like leaving town also. Like, so I was like, I'm probably just not gonna be around. But she was like really supportive. She was like automatically trying to come up with baby names and like, I want to be here and I want to help you with this and so on and so forth. Like I'm really excited. And that made me feel good because I needed somebody to be excited for me because I was just scared and bring the excitement. So I remember that being the first person that I told, and she gave me like really good energy back. And then we always had like friends coming over to the house. So like a couple of my friends kind of like just found out by coming over and talking to me face to face. And they don't know what they said behind my back, but in my face, they were all like super supportive and like excited, honestly. Couldn't wait to plan a baby shower and couldn't wait to do this and that. Like it was good vibes for my friends and family.
What would you say out of all? Because I'm pretty sure as a teen mom, because I know for myself, I had my first child when I was 20. I think I got pregnant at 19, and it was still like super super scary. Even when I'm already outside of my home, I have a job. It was still super scary. So, what would you say out of all the challenges that you experience as being a teen that's pregnant? Was the biggest challenge for you?
The biggest challenge for being a teen that's pregnant, and this is gonna be while pregnant and like after like being pregnant, but still just being like a teen mom. I would probably say the biggest challenge that I felt like I faced was once my daughter like started going to school and they had like field trips and money due up front, and her friends got iPhones and iPads and the nicest Jordans and things like that. But her friends' parents are 30. and they have 2-parent households. Like, so I couldn't keep up with the Joneses, and my daughter felt like she was like missing out, or she wasn't having like the best of both worlds, like how her friends were and things like that. That was really hard for me because I felt like I couldn't do nothing about it. Like, here I am working this minimum wage job and like trying my best, but my daughter still wasn't like feeling as fulfilled as like materialistic wise. So that was really hard for me to like try to overcome. So that's why I work super hard.
That when you were saying that, it was just like, man, you have the mind of a mom. Because you ask people like, hey, what was like the hardest part of like being pregnant? And people are like, oh, I couldn't do what I want to do. I couldn't, go out with my friends.
Yeah.
Couldn't like me. It's always like me. I couldn't do me stuff. But you
Right.
answer it and say I could. The biggest challenge was being so young and feeling like I couldn't give my daughter like the world that everyone else who were in, like you said, in their 30s that have 2-parent households, because it makes it so much easier when you have a 2-parent household and you have 2 incomes coming in versus a single parent that's trying to provide and give everything to their child. So
Yeah, and a lot of people don't, I guess, because they're older when they have, their kids. But that was really hard for me because my daughter would come like, "Oh, mom, it's a book fair coming up," and the book fair is not cheap by any means. So she'd be like, "Can I have $40 to go to the book fair?" And I'm like, I'm getting paid $7.25, and I only worked 20 hours this week. You want all my money? So it used to be like so crazy for me. But my mom used to always come through, like always.
so how do you feel about teen pregnancy in general?
Oh, now I have a different outlook because I'm not gonna lie. Like, I used to be super close-minded and judge people that were like teen moms. I'm not gonna even lie, but because it can literally happen to anyone, like it happens because your curiosity get the best of you, and your brain isn't even fully developed. Kids do stupid stuff all the time. So now I'm not necessarily accepting of it or would want it for my daughter, but if it happens, I'm gonna try to do like how my mom did and be super supportive of my child for sure.
In your opinion, as a mom of a teenager, do you think that the school systems are doing their due diligence to educate these teens and provide them with the support if needed?
I don't think so, honestly, because even whenever we had like health class back in the day, they were really sheltered in particular about what it was that they were going to talk about instead of like just being fully transparent like with the teens about what could really happen or the dangers of it or so on and so forth. I don't think so. And as I recall, because I talked to my daughter about it because I don't feel like she would get the knowledge from anywhere else. Whenever I talked to her about it, she really hasn't had any education from school about it. So I don't think that they provide much of any information. So it's the parents' job to really educate their kids. Parents never talked to me about it or really went into details. So I think that's why I was still so ignorant and curious. And so that's why I try to bring as much education and be honest and transparent with my daughter about it as well. And thank God she's 14, so she passed my age when I got pregnant. But I still want her to like have a healthy relationship with sex. I don't want her to have to learn from her friends or go out like experimenting. I want her to get a proper education about it. So it's all on the parents, honestly, because the schools aren't going to do it.
That's being a parent when you have so many different parents and everyone has their own like view of it, of what it's supposed to be and how it's supposed to be. It gets very challenging as a parent. Like when you have a teenager come home like, well, my friend said this, like my friend's mom like said this, is like, but your mom is saying this. Like,
Exactly. That's what I go through now with my teenager for sure.
and our kids out there into the world, they get different exposures to things that we can't control. We want to, but we can't. And we can only, support them when they do mess up and then support them when they're doing great. So Being a team mom, how has that experience affected your outlook on it now? Like, do you want more kids in the future? Like, how has that impacted your whole view of having children and being a mom?
It definitely has made my relationship with wanting kids weird because when I had my first kid, obviously I didn't want any more kids after that because I was so young. But now that I'm to an age of where it's like, okay, maybe I do want some more kids, what makes me hesitant is like, dang, my daughter's gonna be in high school next year. Am I really gonna go back to a newborn? So it's like, I have a weird relationship with it now because my daughter and my next child have such a big age gap. So I don't know. I'm like, maybe I should just one and done. But then it's like, but you're at the age now, you should do it. You should have like a real experience, like, because I'll have my husband there and it'll be different. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the future holds, honestly.
What is one thing, given your experience as a teen mom and now your daughter is 14 years old, knowing what you know now and going through that experience, what is some advice that you would give a teenage parent right now?
Some advice that I would give a teen mom that's listening now is that your mistakes don't define you, and to not focus on what other people are saying because a lot of them have skeletons in their closet as well. Yours just happen to be a little bit more visible because it's in the form of a baby. So don't let people bring you down, and don't feel bad about what happened because all life is beautiful. I would just tell them to honestly just keep going, love your child as much as possible. Don't let people make you feel bad about, your life and your journey because everybody experience is different.
Looking back at yourself as a teen, what is something that you would tell yourself if you could right now? Your teen self.
Probably say it's a lot. It's a lot, honestly. God, I would just hold her so, like, just love her so much for real. But I would honestly just tell her to like focus inward, like try to heal and repair herself and do the best that you can because people are gonna judge you anyways. Like the way that people were so critical when I was like a teen mom was just so crazy. Like, I'm a kid, I know nothing about being a mom, but they were like just so judgmental. So I would probably just tell her, do your best. You got it. It's okay. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I told my husband I was going to cry. He was like, just do it.
You made it through that. Your kid is healthy. She's here. I'm pretty sure she's proud of her mom. I'm pretty sure she's like, my mom was a kid when she had me, and look at her now. Like she's married. She's good. I'm good. That's an accomplishment. You did a great job with how much that you came through something as huge as that, because that's not a small thing to get through. And I'm so happy that you had your mom, because I was like, if I was a teen mom and I told my parents, like I know that they would support me, but my dad would have definitely just flipped.
Really was. I'm like super grateful. Like even to this day, she still helps out a lot. And my daughter, because we grew up like this was the weird thing, honestly, about being a teen mom. Like me being a teen living with my mom and my mom being the boss. And then here I am with my daughter, like trying to discipline her or tell her something. And at some point in time, my daughter realized, like, grandma the real boss here. Like, I'm about to go tell grandma. And I'm like, first of all, I'm your mom. I hated that so much. Like, so whenever we finally moved out, got on our own, I like had to break her out of that. Like, no, you're not calling your grandma. No, you're not doing this. No, you're not doing that. I'm mom. What I say, go. Like, so the dynamic was really weird. Like having your kid watch you like be bossed around like, Shonte, go wash the dishes now type thing. Like, it was just so weird. And my daughter definitely obviously learned that and picked up on it. And she looked at my mom probably like as a second mom, because while I was in school, while I was working, my mom spent a lot of time with her. So that was weird too. Not really feeling like a mom in a sense, like, because you spend so much time away. So yeah, my mom definitely got a fourth child. My daughter for sure.
I never even thought of that even being a challenge, but hearing you say that, like, I can definitely see how it's hard to be like to get your kid to listen to you when you're also a kid having to listen to someone. You're all under the same roof. My mom just came to visit and my son was doing something. I'm like, stop, like, don't do that, quit. And my mom's like, stop it. And he quit. He quit.
Pick up on that so fast, like, oh, she can tell mom what to do. All right, that's what I'm going to. Seriously, that was just so crazy for me. It was a lot, honestly, being a teen mom, like a lot. So I commend any of the young ladies. Like, I know they get talked down about and get chastised, but it's a lot. And just mentally, you having to like grow up so fast. Like, I had to learn so much so fast. Like, I used to cry and hate. Like, my friends were like, hey, you want to go to a party? I'm like, I can't. You know, got a baby. I got to stay home.
How you feel now, what we talked about today, and just like your whole overall experience with this topic itself. I just want you to fill in the blanks of what the first word that pops to mind for you. So believe in the
now.
Trust in the
process.
Trust in the process, and live in the
moment.
I have these butterfly notes here, and I'm going to ask you one thing that you want to choose to let go of, and we're going to put it in the broken vase. So what is your one thing that you want to let go of?
So beautiful. I love it. Okay. Okay, because I have a really difficult time go in general. My word that I'm going to let go of is the past.
Definitely we tend to hold on to our past, and I mean, they say it messes up our future, which is true, but it's hard. It's really hard not knowing the future, trying to be in the present, but you still think about the past. It's like really hard. So we're gonna let this go. I wrote it down on a little sticky thing. Let's show what we're letting go of, the past, and we're gonna put it in the broken vase. We're letting go of the past. I really do appreciate you coming and talking about it, because it's a huge thing. I really do appreciate that. And you're doing amazing. You look amazing. You're doing amazing.
Thank you for having me, for letting me tell, a piece of my story. It was a lot. It took a lot for me to honestly come out and talk about it. It was honestly really relaxing talking about it with you. You made me feel really welcome and comfortable. So thank you.
So thank you all for watching another episode of Broken Vase. Please like, share, and subscribe. This was a beautiful story. There are many teen moms out there. There are many moms out there in general that maybe do not have the support and are terrified of the experience of becoming a mom and giving the world or their world to their children. So thank you all for tuning in. I am your host, Ashley, and this is the end of another episode, but not the end of a journey. Thank you. For those who are sexually active, please be mindful to educate yourselves on healthy and safe sex. There are plenty of mentors around you that will provide you with the proper ways to engage in sexual activities. Be safe about it.